All right. So, a few things we want to discuss today regarding midsem. Right. So, everyone, please take your seat, and you want to make sure that we follow social distancing. Okay. So, please follow the guidelines for COVID-19. Everyone. And now, everyone pays complete attention. We want to make sure that we understand all the guidelines for mid-semester exam. Is it clear? So for next 15 minutes, we want to make sure that we have our complete attention and focus here. Do we have students from both the sections or only one section online? Do we have students from section 1 and 2 as well online? Both sections?
Yes, sir.
All right. And this will be common for everyone. Right. So let me read out the details for the midsem. And I have sent you the email yesterday. I just want to make sure that we understand all the points. And if you have any question, feel free to ask. Right. Point number 1, as per our university schedule that you can see on ORIS, exam is scheduled on October 3, 2021 from 3:30 p.m. onwards. So everyone is aware of the date and time. All right. Fine. Second, exam will be conducted online, whether you are attending the lecture offline or online, for everyone, and for all the students, irrespective of how you are attending the lectures. Exam will be conducted online. Is this clear or not? Right. So one more time, whether you are attending the lectures on campus or attending lectures online, doesn't matter. The exam, the mid-semester exam, remember, we are talking about mid-semester exam will be conducted online. How? I will send you email. And many times I have heard that we have a slower response on any of our systems, right? LMS or ORIS. Now, if you use our email system, hopefully they are more efficient, right? Yes or no? Right. Sometimes I have heard the problem in uploading the question paper or answer paper, right, on LMS or ORIS, generally LMS. So we eliminate that issue, and we use Google. Right, our university emails, right, are on Google, so Google would be definitely faster. Is it clear or not? So I send the email, and you write down, you upload and reply back everything on email. Is this clear or not? Fine. Point number 3. I will send you Zoom meeting link dedicated for the exam. All right. You need to log into that Zoom meeting link, right? And make sure. So let me read out. I will send you Zoom meeting link before the exam begins. And it can be any time before exam. Please make sure you join the meeting using either mobile phone or the computer or laptop, whatever you prefer. And keep your video on. Audio off, right? Video on during the entire exam duration. You must be clearly visible in the video such that your computer screen and what you are writing in the papers or notebooks should be clearly visible in the video. Is this clear or not? Right? Mas, yes, go ahead. Okay. So can you? Okay. So for the previous semesters, right? How have you been logging in the exam? Okay. So all right. Let me hear. Yes. No. Unfortunately, no. Everyone, right? With the given scenario, with the given scenario, do your best. Everyone listens. Hello, hello, hello. I will answer every question one on one. Right? Listen when I am talking because very essential. You may miss something. For point number 3, do your best to make sure that you are visible. Okay, you are not typing anywhere. You are writing like you are writing in paper. So even if you have only laptop, you can set the camera in such a way that you are visible and whatever you are writing is visible. Is it clear? You may refer to some of the tables. Right? You may refer to some of the tables. You may look at the question paper. That is fine. Right? But definitely you can adjust it in such a way that you are visible. Yes, question.
So in the previous semesters, they were asked to show our papers that we were not. It was not mandatory to show our faces because the papers and our faces both are visible is not possible. We have tried that earlier. So what professors did, either they make a way to show our faces or just to show our papers.
Okay. So again, adjust in the best possible way you can do. Yes. Anyone online? Anyone online would like to add to this point? Yes. Everyone listens, right? Want to make sure we understand. Yes. Yes. Wait. I will come to that point later. Point number 3. There are reasons. There are regions you may not know. Okay. Point number 3 is clear or not? Point number 3. Right. Do your best to make sure that you fulfill this situation. All right. And this can be in a way different for person to person depending on which device you are using. So some scope of adjustment is there. Point number 3, clear or not? We'll come back to each point one by one. Point number 4, this is an open book exam. What that means is you can refer any books, any tables, right? Anything online, right? If you want to. However, you have to work individually, right? You cannot collaborate. Is this clear or not? Open book means you can use any resource, textbook, lecture notebooks. Is it clear or not? Textbook, lecture notebooks, etc. Something on internet, fine. However, you to work alone, you cannot collaborate with any of your classmates or anyone. Is it clear or not? It should be your work. It should be your individual work. Is it clear? Fine. Question, point number 5. So is it clear? Point number 4. So I would suggest that you prepare all the tables, etc. that might be needed for the programming, right? And put it in convenient way for yourself. Whether you prefer printouts, okay, you can have those tables, printout, etc. Right? Whether you would like the soft copy, you can keep it in your mobile phone or the laptop. Is it clear or not? We have many control words, right? Etc. etc. that you can refer to. You can use that. Point number 5. For the programming questions, follow the structure discussed in the classroom. Now understand that there is some difference in the way we write program in class and in the lab, because in the lab we customize to the tool we have. Right? Now for the exam purpose, everyone follows the pattern of the classroom. That means you have to include the header file, for example. Right? In the lab, we have a tick mark in the box when we have the settings. Right? It will automatically include the header file. But here, right, from the exam perspective, you want to have everything. Right? Include the header files, etc. So we follow the answer in the same pattern we discussed in the classroom, the same pattern that we have in the textbook as well. Okay, so refer to textbook and it has the same pattern. Is it clear? All right, any question on point number 5? Point number 6 says, let me read it out. The question paper will have 3 parts. Approximate individual time duration of each 3 part would be around 15 to 30 minutes. You will receive all parts separately and you need to submit all 3 parts separately. Is it clear or not? So for example, I may send you part 1, right? You write it down, prepare the file, return it, right? I will send you part 2, part A, B, C, right? Part A, part B, and part C. So this can be the sequence, right? Point 7, following will be the sequence of events during the exam. So we start with 7.1 says, I will email you part A of the question paper at 3:30 p.m. So we'll start at 3:30 p.m. That means you need to log in, etc. well before that time. And well before the time you log in, you should have everything ready. Right? Part A would be sent at 3:30. Now, that question paper will have the time duration mentioned. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, whatever it is. Right? At the beginning, on the top, you follow that. So we start at 3:30. We stop sharp at the time mentioned there. Suppose the time duration is 20 minutes, then you will stop at 3:50. Stop writing at 3:50. Question.
Sir, like you can take the pictures and steps or whatever that that would also take 10 or 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
So you have to consider that.
Yes. So point number B, C, and D. Okay. Hold on. So I will email you part A. We start at 3:30. Then what happens? The question paper will have the details of duration. 7.1 B. You should write down answers in notebook or blank papers. Right? It must be in the paper form. It will not be in the typing form. Is this clear or not? Right? Many of us prefer typing. This is an exam. We have different reasons. Is it clear or not? Right? We want to make sure that it is individual work. It must be written form. Right? So again, 7.1.B, you should write down the answers in notebook or blank papers, your preference. Okay? Then what happens? You should stop writing as per the time duration allocated in part A. After you stop writing, I will give you time of 5 minutes. Right? You should scan the paper. So 7.1.D, that comes after that. After you stop writing, then I will give you time that, okay, now we have 5 minutes in which you will scan the paper. Okay, prepare 2 files and reply to my email. So let me read it out. You should scan the paper or take photos, prepare MS Word file or equivalent file of MS Word and the PDF file as well. Okay, 7.1.E, name your file as ESD_MIS_2021_ part A _ your enrollment number, complete enrollment number. All right, questions?
Less or do all the things like to take the picture, the convert it into PDF, the convert it into Word, completely.
Okay.
Live, this many things is not possible to do it.
Okay, 10 minutes. Wait. Wait, 10 minutes. Because I'll be live on Zoom also. Is it clear or not? Right? If we need to adjust little bit, right? I will be live on the Zoom as well. So if you say, okay, sir, we need 10 minutes to scan and then prepare a file, 10 minutes.
Let us be 10 minutes.
Yes?
Let us be 10 minutes for that.
10 minutes. Right? So 10 minutes again. Come to your question. So is it okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Fine. Yes, another question.
Yeah, so we are already PDF and we scan those,
Okay, so you are telling that the way you will scan it will prepare a PDF file. Hold on. Wait, let me understand. Let me understand. Let me understand. Hello. Yes. Fine. So you may submit the PDF file only. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone online, do you hear this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
You may submit only PDF file if that is the way your scanner is working. Is this clear? Now make sure that you have your complete enrollment number. Your complete enrollment number.
Yes, sir.
And otherwise, yeah, it may match with someone else's. And if you want to put underscore your name, that is fine as well. And after enrollment number, if you want to put underscore your name, that is fine as well. But this must be the minimum scenario. Okay. And there is one more hand raised online. Can you tell me what was the question?
Sir, I had the same question that the way we use these apps, it directly gives us PDF. So to prepare a Word file will be hassle. So that has been covered.
All right. So let me understand. Everyone, please listen. Right. We will have all time for discussions. Please listen because you may miss something. Right. So answering your question. Okay. I agree with your suggestion. Suggestion is, sir, can we only submit the PDF file? Okay. Right. You can only submit PDF file. Is it clear? Does it answer your question? Yes. Online?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So again, let me read it out. Yes, one more question.
So we have to go back to the mail. Send part email.
Correct. Correct. The question is, okay, how we are going to send back the answer part A? You will reply to the email. You will not prepare another subject and another email. Okay? You will reply to my email. And you may not accidentally send to everyone. So what I will do, when I will send the paper, I will send it to me and keep everyone in BCC. Of course, TAs will be in CC. Right? TAs will be in CC. So you reply all. Is it clear or not? Now I will put you in BCC. The reason is sometimes we reply to everyone. And I once in a while see some assignments sent to everyone. Right? Now for exam paper, you don't want to do that. Right? So if it goes to say any other folder than inbox, you double check that. Right? If my email goes to any other folder than inbox, you double check that. Of course, I will be live on Zoom. Right? In case something doesn't work for you. So is it clear? Entire process? Yes. All the submission together? No. We need to submit it individually. I understand that. Right? I understand that. It will be time consuming. Answer is yes. You want to follow that pattern? Answer is yes. Right? Is it clear? Right? Many times I understand your scenarios like PDF, right? But there are many other, what we may say, consequences if you don't submit them on time. All right? And we don't want to go into any non-ideal cases. So I will give you time, you complete it and return it to me. Though it may take, say, sending the answer 3 times, fine. Right? It is little bit work, I understand that. If you don't do that, there are many consequences. We don't want to discuss those consequences. You understand my point or not? Right? So time is very essential. So sometimes we may feel that, okay, maybe this is not the most or optimized scenario. Answer is yes, because many times, say, our human behavior is such that we need to follow certain rules. Okay? So I understand it is not the most optimized way. I know that. And I need to make sure that we have fair evaluation. Okay? I want to make sure that I get the answer that is the individual work. So I have time limits. Put it this way. Is it clear or not? So you have something to write down. You will write down in your time limit and you return to me. Okay? The moment we have relaxed time, many things can happen. Is it clear or not? So I understand 3 times you need to send the reply. Okay, we'll have 10 plus 10 plus 10 minutes. 30 minutes, right? Everything being ideal, right? We may have 10 minutes, I know that. But as an evaluator, I want to make sure that everything is fair. Every work is individual work. I go for that scenario, right? It is not that I always say, stand on whatever I say. I also change the scenarios like PDF versus MS Word, because I don't see that happening if we have only PDF files. Anything that is less than ideal. Clear? So similarly, after we complete submission of part A, and we'll have 10 minutes, remember, 10 minutes, right? And you should be clearly visible. You cannot write down anything during that 10 minutes. Is it clear or not? Right? TAs will be there online checking. If you write anything, they will note down the names. Right? I will be live as well. And we need to discuss, okay, why you did not stop writing. That 10 minutes should be used only for scanning, sending me email. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Then again, we repeat the cycle. So part B, right? Yeah, scroll a little bit. So part B, again, I will send you part B of the question paper after the completion of part A submission. Again, question paper will have details of time duration. You should write down your answers in notebook or blank pages. Right? Stop writing as per the duration. And after that, you scan the paper, send me PDF file. Name the file like this, right? ESD, midsem 2021, and so part B, your enrollment number, you can have your name, that is optional if you want to. First name is good enough. If you want to put complete name, that is fine. And you must send the PDF file to me. Make sure you have all the TAs in system. Similarly, part C. Is it clear or not? Any question on point number 7? Point number 7. Point 8, make sure that you mention your name, enrollment number, degree details, BTech, MTech. Sometimes we have students from other branches, other degrees. So you want to make sure that you have all these things. Course name, course code clearly at the beginning of first page of each part of the answer papers. You can write it before the exam begins. You can keep this ready. Is it clear or not? Point 8 and point 9, you can keep it clear and ready before exam begins. It is up to you. Everyone listens to this. Everyone. Right? Point number 8 and point number 9, you can write down well before the exam begins. What is that? Your roll number, name, and the university declaration, undertaking with your signature. Right? You can have part A, part B, part C. Right? Your endowment details and this undertaking. Right? Also must follow the university guidelines for the examination, include following undertaking in all three parts. So you can come prepared with all these things ready and on the paper so that you start writing the answers. Is this clear or not? Right? Any question about the exam? And remember, all of us will be online. If for any reason we need to be flexible a little bit here and there, realistic results will be done. All right? Question? Regarding the exam? Okay, we'll come to that questions. Any question about this email? Online, all the friends, all the students, do you have any question on this email? Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, so do we conclude this discussion? So yeah, you can delete this email. All right, so now we'll go into other details of exam. Right? Now the question is, how do we have the question paper design, etc. So I discussed this in the previous batch also. that if you think about teaching learning, right, there are various models. And let me refer to one of the models we call Bloom's taxonomy. Right? Can you Google Bloom's taxonomy? Bloom's taxonomy. Right? Bloom's taxonomy. And on any search engine, you can find out some of the diagrams. Can any of you share those diagrams? Yes. Bloom's taxonomy. Yes, here it is. Yeah, can you zoom in onto this pyramid only? Okay. So everyone can see this clearly online as well? Everyone online?
Yes, sir. We can see this clearly.
These are quite detailed aspects of teaching learning, okay? Quite detailed aspects. Our educational psychologist, right? Benjamin Bloom is one of those pioneers. Everyone listens. Okay? They have analyzed the teaching learning, and in this case, learning aspects and so forth. And there are 6 levels of learning. This is a specific subset of Bloom's taxonomy, right? that are relevant for us. Right? Our thing is we have 3 different domains in Bloom's taxonomy. We are talking about a specific domain. Now this is relevant for us, so we'll go to this as a reference, right? If you want to explore more, there are a lot of things. There are 3 different domains. This is one of the domains. So when we learn something, we remember something. You can remember without understanding as well. Okay. The first level is remembering. Second is understanding. Third level is applying what you understand. Okay. Then analysis, evaluation, and creation. Okay. These are different layers of learning that, say, education psychologists will put this way. So the question papers that at least I prepare would have some of these concepts utilized. Right? Few questions can be simple, and I would say below average level of difficulty. That may refer to remembering and understanding, and maybe a little bit applying. Then there can be medium level of difficulty, maybe apply and analyze. And a little bit higher level of difficulty can be, say, evaluate and create. Right? Can you create something? Can you come up with some answer spontaneously and so forth? Right? So the exam paper pattern would be, okay, maybe few questions are easy, few questions are of medium level of difficulty, few questions are of a higher level of difficulties. Is it clear or not? Right? And it will be based upon the material that we have learned in the classroom, as well as in the lab. We have practiced few questions in the lab as well. Right? We have practiced programming in the lab. Is it clear or not? Right? So pattern of examination is okay. Yeah, we have, say, various kinds of questions refer to this say background in educational psychology. Is it clear? Now, coming back to our course, you can consider previous year's mid-sem paper as reference point. Okay, as reference point. Remember that it is not necessary. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it is not necessary that we have the same question. No, right? Remember that at our university we don't have any restrictions, right? And that should be the case. Say, the higher level of understanding, create. Can you come up with something spontaneously? Right? That might not be discussed, for example, in the classroom explicitly. But can you derive something? Derive is not mathematical derivation, but can you derive something from whatever you have learned and create something new, for example? Okay. So you can consider previous year's paper as a reference point. There will be some differences. Answer is yes. Right? So you need to adopt to those changes. All previous papers are designed for, say, on-campus exams. Okay, all previous papers are from on-campus exam. Right? So here we are taking online exam. So there will be some variation. Answer is yes. For example, part A, part B, part C. But you will not see that in the normal paper of previous years. Okay. Some variation in the questions will reflect that answer is yes. Right? So some changes will be there, of course, the way I will ask the question. The essential thing is you should understand whatever we have covered in the syllabus so far, in the class, and the laboratory. Is it clear or not? Okay. If you understand those concepts, you will be able to answer. And again, depend upon the difficulty levels, okay, some variation can be there. So does that answer the question one student asked? Right? So you can consider our previous papers as a reference, right? That can give you some idea. At the same time, get ready for the changes because of online mode of exam. Is it clear or not? Online mode of exam. Right? And you need to be very fast. You need to practice the questions. You need to practice the programming. Right? We have time limits. Yes or no? So if you practice, if you understand, it is open book exam, answer is yes. But if you don't understand, you start looking at the table for the first time, you may spend 5 to 10 minutes just understanding the table. Time can be lost for the exam's perspective. So you should be familiar thoroughly with entire material. Right? Timing will be critical. Is it clear or not? Right? You should be very fast in programming. Or answering theory questions that may not be programming. Right? There may be some questions in circuits, some theory, and so forth. All right? So does that answer the question? Okay, how can we prepare? Yes, you consider the previous papers. There will be some change because of online mode. And all the papers that you have are on-campus exams. No. Okay. Okay, the question is last year's paper was online or not? It was offline because this subject was in 4th semester. And then it shifted to the 5th semester. So when your seniors were studying this, it was the 4th semester, right? Up to the mid-sem, and a week after that, everything was moving smoothly. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is, do you understand the concepts or not? Right? Whether previous exam was online or offline doesn't matter. Anything else that you want to know, understand, discuss regarding the exam? Now chapters. So let me take out the textbook. Now this is the reference book that I am reading. Right. This is our reference book. Let me put it here clearly as well. Right. This is the reference book we are referring to. Okay. Now is it better? Right. And you can have any other version of this, any other say, revision. That is fine. Right. What we need to understand, and if you want to, discuss or note down the introduction, AVR microcontroller and history and features. Yes, some point from chapter 2. Right. If you remember, initially we had some discussion about which controller to select, so forth and so forth. Right. So chapter 2. Right, we have few points. Chapter 3 is assembly language programming. We are not studying assembly here. We are studying only C. So you need not worry about assembly programming. Chapter 4, branch call and time delays. Again, this is reference to the assembly program. So we don't worry. AVR IO port programming. You need to understand. In this revision, this chapter number 5. In your revision, it can be chapter 4 or chapter 6. I don't know. But the point is, the chapter is AVR IO port programming. Input output programming, and you should understand the C programming concepts and the hardware, of course. Right? The hardware is always there. Clear? right? And we have discussed this in detail. So IO port programming. Then we have arithmetic logic instructions and programs. Now this is, I think, again referring to the assembly. So you don't worry about that. AVR, advanced assembly language programming. Again, it is not the target. Then AVR programming in C. That is chapter 8 in this revision. AVR programming in C, you should know that thoroughly. We have done many of the programs as well, right, in the class. Then comes AVR hardware connections, hex files, some of those concepts of chapter 9, right? AVR hardware connections, hex files, etc. Flash loaders. Now we do this in the lab anyway, right? So chapter number 9 you should know, and we are implementing in the lab. So we are going through many of these processes anyway. Then AVR timer programming in assembly and C. Again, we worry about timer programming in C. Okay. And for timer programming, you should prepare for timer 0 and timer 2. Now, timer 1 being 16-bit, so we say, okay, it may take more time, so we'll not consider for the programming. Okay, let me tell you the programming of timer 1. Right, theory of timer 1 can be there. Right, some question related to theory of timer 1, but questions related to programming of timer 1, that is our 16-bit timer, will not be there. From the programming perspective, right? Timer 0 and timer 2. From the programming perspective, timer 0 and timer 2, that means you should have all the control words of timer 0 and timer 2 ready. Can there be theory question on timer 1? Answer is yes. Is it clear or not? Right? There can be some theory questions on timer 1. Okay. Programs I will ask for timer 0 and timer 2. Is it clear or not? Right? And the reason is timer 1 being 16-bit, right, may take more time in programming. The timer programming, and then AVR interrupt programming. So you have studied the interrupt programming for timers, right? So again, interrupt programming for timer 0 and 2, both of them can be activated as interrupt, as well as we have 3 external hardware interrupts. And 3 of the external hardware interrupts. And all the variations of that, right? 3 external hardware interrupts, all the variations, timer 0 and timer 2, all the variations. Is it clear or not? Right? All the variations means normal mode, CTC mode, everything we have studied. Timer 2 is very similar. You can translate learning of timer 0 to timer 2 directly. In most of the cases, few things can be new, that is fine. Is it clear or not? Right? Interrupt, again, we have studied hardware interrupts, timer interrupts, so you should be familiar with them. So this is, in a way, the content that you should refer to. Is it clear or not? Any question on, okay, which book to refer, which chapters to refer? You can consider the PPTs as reference point. Now remember, PPTs are there for teaching purpose. For learning purpose, you want to refer to textbook. In textbook, there are many more examples, sold examples, etc. So I strongly recommend that you do that. Right? You study them. Clear? Any questions? Any questions at this stage? Yes, we have one question from Ansul. Go ahead.
Sir, I had sent you an email about a doubt I have in the mid-semester paper of previous year. Can I share the screen and can we discuss that?
Yes. Any general question? Any general question? So okay, go to the question. A question.
Sir, okay.
Okay, what is the question? Everyone, let us participate. Let us solve it together. Okay, let us solve it together. The question is from mid-semester of 2019. Okay, fine, right? Anywhere C program for Atmega 32 that performs all of the following tasks. It should be one program, remember. One program doing all these 3 tasks. Is it clear? We don't want to have 3 different programs. So read the question paper clearly. Right? One program. What is that? What is the first task? Assume that the external clock is connected to T0, pin of Atmega 32. Fine. Count these pulses on rising edge and display the count on port A continuously. If the count value exceeds 100, then reset the count value and restart the counting from 0 continuously. Display on port A. All right, that is one thing. Part B is toggle LED connected to pin 0 of port D whenever a switch connected to external interrupt goes high. Use external interrupt INT 0. Okay. So INT 0 must have interrupt subroutine ISR. Then the part C is a switch is connected to external interrupt pin of INT 1. Okay, so now look at this. The overview is the main program should have part A. Hold on to the question. The main program should have part A, and we can have 2 different interrupt subroutine. One for part B, right? That is activated by INT 0.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And yeah, stay on the program. Okay, stay on the program. Stay on the program. Question. Okay, and part C says we need to use INT 1. All right. So that means we need to make sure that we initialize interrupt 0, interrupt 1, right? And we have ISR for both of them separately. In the main program, we want to write down related to timer. Is it clear or not? Right? That is one approach to this question. So now, okay, how we will solve this? Part A. If it is the main part, what will you do? Yes. Can you use the interrupt for part A also? Answer is yes, if you want to. All right. Yes or no?
So, but we are already using the 2 ISR. So can we just put TCCR 0 on rising edge? Yeah.
See, let us go back. See, I am going to talk the overview. Okay. So go back to the question. I understand you want me to zoom in into whether there is 0 or 1. Okay. That is one approach. Another approach is let me give you the direction. Right. So the question is timer 0. Right? How you want to activate that? Count these pulses on the rising edge. How we set the timer for rising edge? Can you quickly check the control word? Everyone. Ansul, can you?
It is 1 1.
So how can we set our timer that will change the value of the count register on rising edge?
So it is 1 1 1 for second, first, and 0th bit of TCCR.
Yeah. So TCCR you can initialize as 0. Can you do that or not? Right. TCCR timer counter register where you are putting the values. Can you initialize as 0? And whenever we have the rising edge, right, that value will change. It will increase, right? And how can we achieve that? Using the control register. In control register, we have last 3 bits. In this case, which combination will be there?
1 1 1.
Is it 1 1 1? Okay. So you have it. You configure it in that way, right? Wait for the edge. When the rising edge comes, you increment the value, and then you display it on port A.
So,
At
do
the same time,
need
yes.
to check for rising edge? So how do we do that, sir?
So how can you display the value on port A?
No, sir. I'm asking how can we check when there will be a rising edge? So basically, every time the timer is incremented, it will be on rising edge, right?
Yes. And you are setting the timer on the rising edge.
So, sir, here essentially we'll be checking the overflow flag only, no? That when 100 times it is incremented, then we'll roll over.
See, we need not worry about the overflow flag here. Right? You need not worry about overflow flag here because you are not checking the overflow. Is it clear or not? You are not checking the overflow. Every time the rising edge will come, you set it that way, your TCCR value, TCCR 0 value will increment. You want to display it to port A. Yes. Yeah, you just check if TCCR 0 is greater than or equal to 0. Yes, then put TCCR 0 equals to 0. Fine. Yes. You check if the TCNC value is 100. Right? If it is, then assign new value, that is 0. Is it clear or not? Right? Like you can assign that value, the timer counter register where we are counting. That is too much detail, okay? For that, I need to look into the entire code. I am giving you the overview. Is it clear or not, right? Something else can be in your mind. Program line number 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is the maybe 10th line. So I hear only 10th line. You get my point or not? No. I will not answer any question after this class. The simple thing is, yeah, of course, right? Because you don't want to have different information with different people. Right? My point is this. Yes. Yes. After this lecture, no questions will be answered by me. If they have enough time. You align with their schedule. Please understand that I have uploaded those papers long back. Right? And I strongly recommend you study regularly. Right? I want to make sure that we make the regularity as a habit rather than the day before exam, everyone has question. Is it clear or not? I am giving the overview. The reason is a program can be written in multiple ways. You are telling me 10th line of the program. In your mind, you have line number 1 to 9 that I don't have. You get my point or not? Right? And if you display it, right, I need to understand all 10 lines before I answer line number 11. Is it clear or not? That may not be that much useful. My point is I will give you overview that, okay, you can do this process and how you implement it is fine. Is it clear or not? Sometimes what happens that we want to make sure that we have everything perfect. So we expect the faculty that, sir, can you make sure that we are not even missing semicolon? You get my point or not, right? Sometimes I understand from where you are coming. Everyone please pay attention, right? I understand Anshul's question, right? I understand your question. My answer is this. You understand the concepts, you apply it in your way, right? And that is applicable, answer is yes. Right? In the exam also, there will be some variation, answer is yes. So the concept is this, right? There is no restriction in part A that says you cannot use interrupt subroutine. If you are comfortable with interrupt subroutine, you can activate the interrupt if it is applicable to timer 0 in this case, if it is applicable, right? You double check that. If not, you can write down in the main program. In the main program, right, you continuously send the value of the count register to port A, right? And you can check that value. If it is 100 or more, can you reset that value? That is the logic. Is it clear or not? Right? Now, if you say, okay, sir, no, this is the line number 10 I am writing. My problem is this, that okay, I need to read that all 9 lines right now. Right? That will also take time and everyone's time. Ansul, does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right? And that's why, right, I say that reference books are there for studying. In the reference book, you will find many more programs that you can refer to. Is it clear or not? Right? Everyone. So, Ansul, do you have the approach to your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll try another approach of checking TCR 0.
You can check that register value. If it is 100 or more, you just reset the value to 0. You can assign that, right? You are anyway initializing at 0, right? You can reinitialize it at 0. So is it doable?
Yes, sir.
Right? Yes.
Can you provide us the solution of this?
Solution. Why do I need to provide solution? Right? This is college education. Please understand. This is not 12th class. Let me tell you that you will not have these questions in the mid-sem. So have some confidence. You get my point or not? Right? Have some confidence. Please understand that there is a difference in high school education and college education. Is it clear or not? Right? Second thing is you are not going to encounter the same question. For sure. Right? So have the confidence. Right? If you have understood, we have discussed many times in the lab. Right? And I just want to make sure that we develop the habit of continuous learning rather than we have exam tomorrow and today at 11 o'clock everyone is sending the email. That should not happen. Is it clear or not? Right? And see, we have different personality types. Right? Put it this way. We have different personality types. Many of us have little bit worrying nature. They say, okay, no, I want to confirm with the professor. Right? My answer to is, okay, we can do that, but you had all the time. Right? You had all the time in the classroom. Right? You had all the time in the lab. Okay, we discussed that. Right? Maybe this is not the occasion to go into every detail. And moving forward, you understand and you learn that, okay, if you want to discuss any specific thing, we have lectures. Right? In the lectures, I also discuss the programs. Right? Hardly I find some participation. Yes or no? Few of you do participate. In the lab, you can ask all the questions. So last minute questioning, I would say that, okay, hold on. Last minute questioning, I would say, okay, hold on. Right? So any question regarding the exam, right? I will answer. After I leave, I will respectfully not answer. You can talk to, of course, right? It is not that, it is respectful way. Understand that, see what happens. What happens is many times we have personal communication and we have our own interpretation of the language. Right? So one student will say, okay, I talked with the professor and this is what I understand. Another sends me email. This is the interpretation of person number 2 that goes to the WhatsApp group or whatever group. And there are confusions unnecessarily. Right? Sometimes there are rumors unnecessarily because it is our interpretation. See, language is a very good tool. At the same time, language has problems that, okay, this is the way I interpreted professor's answer. So I am sending email to everyone for their good, okay? I am a good person. I send email to professor. I understand this. I have my interpretation. I send to everyone. Now you use that language. Everyone has their own interpretation. Right? And we get into the communication that is not at all needed. Is it clear or not? Right? So we want to make sure that we have clear communication. Right? And that's why I say, right, I informed this earlier also, that I follow the policy that anything regarding the mid-sem or end-sem, I will talk in the public domain only, so that everyone listens. Right? If you want to learn, you have entire semester to communicate with me. Why you want to wake up on the last day, right, and communicate? Is it clear or not? Right? So Why I am taking this approach? Because it is better for everyone. There are no personal interpretations, right? There are no rumors. So avoid those things and focus on the exam. Right? Focus on the exam. Focus on preparing the material. Is it clear or not? Right? And I can definitely assure that these questions will not be repeated anyway. Right? So if you want to say, okay, sir, can you check if my semicolon is present or not? For example, that is not useful discussion. So Anshul, do you have the overview of your answer? You can get into the details.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Yes. Say it again. Generally, it should be 100 marks, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the marks is, I will say. The question is, what will be the total marks of the question paper? Part A plus part B plus part C should have 100. But I will scale it down to whatever the percentage is assigned for mid-sem. What is the percentage assigned? 25, right? 25% is the contribution, right? The exam paper should be of 100 marks. If it is not, then it doesn't matter. Right? Suppose it is of 90 marks, just an example of 110 marks, doesn't matter. It will be scaled down to 25%. Clear for the final grading. Any other questions? Sometimes students ask, will there be partial grading? Answer is yes. If your program is not completely correct, you can have partial grading depending upon how much you have written correctly. Is it clear or not? Yes. Right? So partial grading, depending upon how much correct you are, will be there. If it is not perfect answer. That is question from many of the students. Right? What else you want to discuss? Questions can be of any type. Theory question, multiple choice question, programs, circuit diagram, it can be anything, right? Whatever you have learned will be there.
Sir,
yes, question.
Sir, can time delays be called in ISR in an interrupt subroutine?
I somehow cannot understand clearly. Can you say it again? And everyone, can you pay attention?
Sir, can time delays be called in interrupt subroutines?
Can you type? I somehow cannot hear that clearly. Can you type the question?
Yes, sir, I'm writing in chat box.
Can you type or can someone hear it clearly? You can translate it. Everyone listens, right? You want to answer all the questions? Let me check. I don't see your question yet. So are you typing? Yes. Okay. Will there be? For entire course? Relative grading? Relative grading, we discussed it at the beginning. Relative grading, do you understand? Everyone here, one more time. One more time. Hello, hello, hello. It may take 10 more minutes, don't worry. It may take 10 more minutes. We are waiting for one question from online participation as well.
Sir, I have written it in the chat box.
Okay, can time delays be called in ISR? If we can do that as per the study, answer is yes. Anshul?
Yes, sir.
Anything we have studied, you can utilize as long as you write it correctly. If it is doable, yes. If it is not doable, no.
Sir, because in one of the questions...
Understand that you follow the question. If question restricts you to use interrupt, you must use it. If it does not restrict you, you can have any way of writing the question. Excuse me. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If the question restricts you in certain way, you must follow that. If question does not restrict you, you can use our learning. You can write down the way you want to write down, including ISR. So I cannot have one answer, yes or no, for that. Is it clear or not?
Sir, I was asking a specific case where you had asked that we have to generate a square wave. So it is basically toggling.
Hello, everyone, please listen. Everyone here, can you please listen? One of your classmates is asking question. I cannot even hear. Yes, everyone, can you please listen? Yes, Ansul.
Sir, I was asking that you had asked that we have to generate a square wave using interrupts. So in that, do we have to call a time delay in the interrupt? It is just like a conceptual thing. Can we do that? I'm just asking.
Whatever question asks, you follow that. Simple thing. If question asks you to use ISR, you must use ISR. Okay, if question does not specify, you can use ISR, you may use main program, whatever way you want. You can use a function. Is it clear or not? Right? These are very if-then questions. And the answer depends upon the question that have been asked. So simple thing, you follow the question. If question restricts you to do certain thing in a specific way, you follow that. If there are no restrictions, you have everything according to what we have studied to implement. Clear or not? Right? There is one more doubt regarding that square wave. So I just want to clarify for everyone, the square wave, right? Can you see me? Can you see what I'm writing? And for square wave, everyone understand. If there are doubts, let us solve it. So suppose this is our time axis, this is our voltage axis, and we have a square wave, for example, like this. This is logic 1, maybe plus 5 volt. This is 0. This is our time duration. If it says time duration, this is total time. Is it clear? Time duration is this. If it is square wave, you want to make sure that you keep the output at logic 1 for T/2 duration. This is our T/2 duration. And this is another T/2 duration. Is it clear or not? So consider example that time duration is, for example, say 200 microseconds. If time duration is 200 microseconds, you should keep that pin on for 100 microseconds and off for another 100 microseconds. If it is about the square wave, is this clear or not? For everyone, regardless of any confusion, any previous discussion, if it is creating any confusion, and everyone can see online, time duration means on and off together, right? And square wave means we have on time equal to off time if it is a square wave, unless specified, right? Unless specified. I can specify that you want to have 25% on time and 75% off time. Just an example. Clear or not? Unless specified, it is 50-50. But if question says, I want to generate the waveform such that it is on for 25% of time, off for 25% of time, if that is the question, and if time duration is 200, right, the new waveform would be something like this. Right? We can have equal duration of 4. It is on for 25%, off. This is just an example. All right? Follow the question. If question says square waves, default is 50% duty cycle. If it says square wave, default is 50% duty cycle. If question asks you to change that specifically, this is example of 25% duty cycle. Is it clear? Your on and off time should be such that if the time duration is 200 microseconds, for square wave, on time is 100 microseconds. So you want to have your time delay adjusted to this. of time is 100 microseconds. Is this clear? There was some confusion about it. Is this clear or not? Any other question? Any other question? All right. Any questions? So we will have one more lab, I think for section 1, right? Tomorrow. That will run regularly. Everyone listens. We know that next week we will not have teaching for this course. I don't know other courses. Right? For our course, embedded system design, right? I can take ownership of embedded system design. We will not have lectures and lab for embedded system design next week. That is exam week. Clear? The following Monday onwards, we will follow the regular time schedule. So next week, that is exam week, we will not have lectures. Clear? For embedded system design. For other courses, you talk to the course instructors. Any last questions? Any last questions? So I would strongly suggest that you understand the concepts. You have the confidence, right? Have the confidence. Do your best in the exam. We have partial grading. In case you have not done the complete answer, that is fine. Make sure you follow every point in the question paper. You must read the question paper thoroughly and follow the instructions as per the question paper. Is it clear? Any last question? Online also, any last question? Any last questions? All right, then let me wish you all the best for the exam. Right? Prepare well, right? Write the answers in the best possible way. We'll meet after the exam. Thank you.